Why is that looking more difficult than it was?
Spirited!
G'day guys, Paul, Perth, FourbeeFour Adventures. Still in the middle of COVID-19 self-isolation, so looking for ideas to do videos, to upload content, and Martin from Shuey's Adventures has come up with a great idea and a challenge. He's always issuing challenges to us, is Shuey, and we will oblige. Of course we can't do the first one, which is out in the bush down at Brunswick, but I can certainly do this one, and the challenge is to name 5 things that you hate about your own vehicle. So, and challenges being challenges, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't pass this challenge on to someone else. So, Cam Wild Touring, show us 5 things about your vehicle that you hate. And Matty G from Westralian Off-Road, show us 5 things about, actually you've got 2 vehicles, so you've got a choice. 5 things you hate about your vehicle. So, 5 things I hate about my Jeep. First thing, clearance. Now, 2-inch lift, 33-inch tyres, I still do at times struggle for clearance. Now I'll show you a bit of a clip here where I'm going up over the top of a hill in Brunswick, and you'll see me scrape the chassis rail under here, so clearance is a bit of an issue. A standard Jeep is not that high off the ground. Yeah, the Overlanders with the airbag suspension, you can raise them up 2 inches and lower them down. But this is a Laredo. I've put a 2-inch lift in it, plus the 33-inch tyres, and sometimes I still struggle with a bit of clearance. As you can see, she's a mid-size 4-wheel drive, so she's not as high as Ben's and Dylan's, obviously, who's got a 4-inch, and even Gary's probably got a bit more clearance than I have. So that would be my first one. Now these are in no particular order, by the way, so they're just random. These are the 5 things I've randomly come up with that I hate about my vehicle. So clearance is the first one. Second one would be underbody protection. Now the underbody protection on these is pretty much just designed to keep sand out of the bits and pieces. So they're basically made up of plastic and rubber and some other stuff that I'm not quite sure what it is, and they're clipped in with little plastic clips, and the first time you hit something they tend to fall off. So I'll just take you around underneath and I'll show you what I mean. So underneath here, and I'm hoping you can see all right here, that is one of them. All right, I've had to cut that out because it kept getting caught and kept pulling out from underneath here. So it's pretty much just plastic with some air pockets underneath and a little bit of rubber here and there, and that's held up with cable ties, bolts from the bash plate, and a few other bits and pieces. And as we go further down, you can see that it's pretty ordinary protection. It's not going to protect you much from a big hit, but up the front I've got the unique bash plate, and I've got the front plates from the bull bar, which give me a lot of protection up front, but further back there is not a lot. And it's so good that when I was on the Adelaide road trip, I used to have one that went right the way back to the back of the transmission, and it was there when I started Adelaide Road, but when I got to camp and pitched my swag and looked under, it wasn't there anymore. So it had completely ripped off in one of the holes that we'd gone through. Now Adelaide Road was dry, so there was no mud, but one of the holes we went through I'd obviously scraped the belly and lost that. So underbody protection, not the best, only designed to keep sand out, not really designed for hits. And I'll actually play a video now of a hit that I took up in, where was it, Sawyers Valley. So you'll hear the big clunk underneath, and yeah, I don't know what that hit. Nothing broke, which was good, but yeah, you can imagine if that hit in the wrong place, that protection is not going to do much for it. Okay, number 3, traction control. In this vehicle I do not have the ability to turn the traction control on and off when I'm in 4-wheel drive mode. It goes off automatically when I put it in 4-wheel drive mode, but while I'm in 4-wheel drive mode I can't actually turn it back on again. and I'll show you what I mean. And to do that, I need to close the door. So I'll say goodbye to that camera. And we'll switch to this camera. And I'll just turn the vehicle on. And I'll need the additional camera over here. Hold it here. So, that is the 4-wheel drive dial. As you can see, it's in auto. That is for standard driving. Alright, so it does have snow mode. Now, Perth, Western Australia, not a lot of call for snow. So, in snow mode, I can actually turn it to snow mode, and it'll say on the dashboard there, snow mode. And that is my traction control button there. Now, if you watch the dash, that light indicates traction control is off, and now it's on. So while I'm in snow mode, I can actually turn traction control on and off. But when I switch to the next 4-wheel drive off-road mode, which is sand and mud, there we go, it's automatically on there. And as you can see, the traction control is off. Okay, now if I push the button, I'm pushing the button and nothing happens. Even if I hold the button down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Traction control is still off. Now I know in sand and mud you don't need traction control, but sometimes you do. If you haven't got lockers, which I obviously haven't, traction control can be your next best thing. I don't have the ability to turn it back on. Now when I go into the next mode, which is rock, I need to be in low, so I need to put it into neutral. To get it into low, push and hold 4-wheel drive low, and now you can see on the dashboard it says 4 low, and the light is lit up there. So now I'm in low range. I can turn it to rock mode, and I'll just turn the downhill automatically comes off, and as you can see again, the traction control is still off. Now I've tried to find some literature on rock mode and find out exactly what it does, and I can't find anything that actually tells me 100% what it does. This is the Quadra-Track 2 system, so it's not the Quadra Drive, it's the Quadra-Track 2 system, and from what I've been told, it basically locks the center diff and applies traction control where needed. Now I'm a little bit iffy about the traction control where needed, because I'll insert another video here where I'm in rock mode, and quite clearly you can see my wheels spinning. So, is the traction control on or is it off? Again, I'll push the button, traction control does not go off. So I physically cannot turn the traction control on and off unless I'm in snow mode. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to use snow mode when I really need 4-wheel drive, because I don't actually know how good snow mode is, because we don't have snow here. So there we go. I'll put that back into auto. Oops, that's in sand mud. Auto. Now the traction control is still off because I've got it in low range. Okay, so if I take that out of low range, hold the button down, and traction control comes back on again. So now I'm in auto, I've got traction control again. But auto, you don't really want to go 4-wheel driving in auto because your traction control is on, and most of the time you don't need your traction control. If you drive in sand and mud with traction control on, you're more than likely to get bogged. So that is why you don't have traction control on. Okay, that's it for number 3. All right, number 4. Number 4 is under here, and it's to do with the transmission. So we'll just lift the bonnet up, and we will take this cover off, which is very difficult to do one-handed, but there we go. Now, the transmission is there. Sorry, the transmission filler is there. Now if I take that off, if I can get it off with my fingers. Hang on, I need to get a pair of pliers. Alright, so right here is the transmission filler. I'll just take that off. As you can see, no dipstick. So I physically cannot check my transmission fluid level because there is no dipstick. I can fill it, but I can't check it because there's no dipstick in that filler hole. So basically, I can fill my transmission, but I can't check to see how much is in there. Now, the reason why I've come across this problem as being one of my hates is because some time ago I actually damaged my oil cooler. So I have a small leak of transmission fluid. It doesn't leak all over the driveway, doesn't leak anywhere, but it does leak, so obviously it blows out the back somewhere. It's been like that for quite some time, and it's slowly getting worse, and I will eventually get around to fixing it. But at the present point in time, I need to keep topping up my transmission fluid. But I can't actually physically check how much fluid is in there to be able to top it up. So I have visited my good friends at Craft Motorsports, and they checked it for me and topped it up. And basically I've been told that when the transmission starts slipping, put some more oil in it, which is not ideal. So I will get the oil cooler fixed, but in the meantime, I'm guessing as to how much transmission fluid is in my transmission. So that's my number 4. Alright, number 5, pesky alarms. Anybody who owns a Jeep knows all about the pesky alarms. So, let's run through them. And again, I'll have to jump to this camera to show you, so I'll shut that one down. Now, let's just start the car. Now, I'm not actually sure where the sound of the alarm actually comes out, or whether you can pick it up. So I'll set a second camera up here, just to get a bit of sound. Right, now to give you an idea, there is an alarm for everything in a Jeep. So let's just start off with, we'll have the car running, and let's just say I've pulled up in the driveway. As you can hear, that beeping is everything going off when you first start the car. So if that's not annoying enough, which is probably in most cars, but it just seems to be excessive beeping. Now, if I've got it in drive and I try and turn the car off, it says no, and it beeps at me. See, it even says on there, vehicle not in park. All right, which is fair enough. All right, completely understand that. I'll put it in park. Another one, if I'm in drive, I've got the handbrake on and I try to open the door, it goes off again. Again, probably a good alarm to have. We'll put it back in park. And then you've got the, I'll turn the car off and I'll open the door. That's the, hey stupid, you've left your lights on alarm, okay? Annoying. So I generally leave it on automatic, so that does it all. Now, let's start the car up again. And this is where we get to the annoying part. It's still beeping. So, we'll just wait for the radio to connect to my phone.
Who know that the true value of any home is the life in.
So we'll go to phone. Call Clarissa.
Visit professionals.com.au.
Let's try that again.
To find out.
Call Clarissa.
Misrecognition.
Who's misrecognition? Call Clarissa.
Expected moments. That's why we offer a home contents policy
Try
which
again.
can cover you for accidental.
Call Clarissa.
Available options are frequency number, next station, previous station, radio menu, main menu, or cancel to exit.
Call Clarissa.
Want the biggest brands at the lowest prices? Then head to Chemist Warehouse today.
Let's try it one more time.
Now, it's
Call Clarissa.
and broadcast in a day or two without anyone.
Call Clarissa. No, doesn't want to do
Radio's
it.
never been
And the
more
phone is right here. So there's no reason why it should not, because it does call. Alright, so we'll just try one more time. We'll clear the phone out, make sure the phone is all on. We'll hit the button. Call Clarissa.
Australia's new Lego Masters.
Let's try another one. Call Clarissa.
I think you selected French. Do you want to change language? Je pense que vous
No,
avez
cancel.
Français.
Cancel.
Changer de langue.
I don't,
Français.
I don't want French. Cancel. So, what the hell? It's possessed. Sometimes it'll just go calling breakdown service. Like, no. So I think the Jeep has basically a mind of a teenager that really wants to bug you, because that's what it does. You can be driving along and an alarm will go off. Now this is just the alarm for the sake of sounding an alarm, because I don't know what it's for. You'll be driving along and all of a sudden you'll get that boom and you'll look down and you go, what? And there's nothing, there's no lights, there's no indicator, there's nothing, and that is the only one you'll get, and you'll go, okay. And then you'll be driving along and the low tire pressure warning light will come on with an alarm, and you'll go, oh, okay, have I got a flat tire? And then it'll go out, and you're like, okay, maybe I don't have a flat tire. And then there's times where you've got automatic entry, so all I have to do is touch the door handle, car unlocks, I can get in. Now it only does this when it's raining. I will try and get in the car while it's pelting down with rain and it won't let me in. It just will not let me in. And I really have to swear at the car before it will let me in. So, and there's other times where I will push the button and it will come up on the dashboard, Jeep key not detected. And I will literally have to pull the key out of my pocket and go, there's the key, and it will start. So my number 5, and probably the funniest thing that I hate about the car, is that it has an attitude problem. And anybody that owns a Jeep knows that they have attitude problems. That's what Jeeps are all about. But in the challenge, there's also 5 things you love about your vehicle, and I'll have to do that at another time. But they are the 5 things that I hate about my vehicle. Now I'll give you a bonus one, the handbrake. Now the handbrake is on the floor down there. So they call it a handbrake, but that's it. Down there. Now it's not going to work. See? There. That is the handbrake. So if it's not hard enough to put on, like that. But sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. So really I've got 6 things. That's a bonus thing, handbrake. But I think most 4-wheel drives have the problem where the handbrake doesn't work. So they are my 5 things I hate about my vehicle. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe to the channel, help support the content, and keep looking after yourselves during COVID-19, people. Do what everybody says we have to do, and we'll get through this together. All right, cheers, guys.